Hi, this is MrByZ, and I picked up that Disney Parks exclusive Sandcrawler for their Droid Factory set, and I really want to take a look at that with you, so let's go ahead and check that out. If you were like me, you were eagerly anticipating this. From the time it was announced at Celebration, what was that, in 2015, or was that in 17 last year? That might have been 17. One I didn't go to. I don't remember. Anyway, they, just throwed a silhouette of the Sandcrawler. And like, oh, we're going to get a Sandcrawler playset. It'd be really cool. Knowing what they did with the speeder, the Star Speeder for Star Tours, I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. To get a new Sandcrawler set as kind of a playset. And now it's here. And, it came out pretty quick. I was lucky enough to order this off of the app. And took about a week to get here. So you can see all the different features it talks about. We've got lights. We've got all sorts of different pieces that move, far more than we ever had in a previous Sandcrawler. Interior stuff. So, instead of talking about it, I'm going to open it up. Let's check the figures that come with it first. This is the Jawa. Not a whole lot of articulation. It just has straight arms on ball joints. The head is... it looks like it might be a separate piece, but it's not really moving. You can see how the legs are attached in there. It's a very kind of hollow feeling. It actually feels pretty cheap. Up close and personal, it doesn't look near as good as any of the Hasbro Jawas, really. It'll look nice in the background of something, but definitely not the best Jawa we've gotten. He does come with his gun in a holster here. It's a very big holster. We've definitely gotten better than this from Hasbro. So, yeah, I wouldn't buy this just for the Jawa, that's for sure. And then we have the Gonk droid. And we've gotten lots of Gonks from Hasbro over the years. I do like, it seems like for a long time our Gonks had that little thing to make them walk. And here we can move the feet on their own. They're jointed in there. I was curious because, we think of Build-A-Droid with Droid Factory and everything. I was wondering if anything came off, and sure enough, you can pop the top off the Gonk droid, and you can see we have a nicely detailed and painted piece underneath. Kind of nice. As far as I can tell, I can't pull the legs off or anything else. If somebody else has tried, let me know. I'd love to know. But I'd say we're not going to see Build-A-Droid Gonks anytime soon at the Disney parks based on this. So here's the Sandcrawler itself. And like many of you, I've seen pictures, much like you're probably looking at here. And it looks really light in color, and the different paneling in it just doesn't look right online. In person, it looks a lot better than the pictures you see online. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch some of that. But usually it looks like a kind of a lighter tan online with the darker patches. But when you see it in person, it doesn't look as bad, which I'm glad to say. We have lots of detail here in the back. You can see we have weathering and everything else. It's a much bigger than the original Kenner or Hasbro one. I will pull out my Hasbro one to compare here in a little bit. We have a couple buttons here on the back for sounds and everything. I'll flip it on the bottom, you can see. So we have our switch for the sounds and everything. All our treads. I really wish the treads were bigger on this. I think that's the one thing. If they'd done with this, it would have made it really, really great vehicle. We can pop open the top, just like the old Kenner and Hasbro ones. We have a little cockpit in here, which is pretty nice. I know there's some lights there. We'll get to that in a minute. And then we can drop down this. We have the kind of front cargo thing, and we even have a little deal that pops out, which, of course, we saw something like this in Attack of the Clones. So it's nice that got integrated into this. Gone is, the little window that we had on the side. I really wonder if that was actually on the Sandcrawler or if that's just what we're used to on the toy. But there's no window on either side there in the middle. And we opened this up from the opposite side where we did before. And you can see it's really spacious and open. A little catwalk up there. Looks like melting something back there. I don't know. And we've got a little spot that opens up here. Just looks like it's a little cargo area. And this is the crane and everything from the front. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on so we can get the sounds and lights going and everything and see how that all works. All right, so here I'm going to show you how the elevator works. We have some buttons here on the front. Instead of having that big suction chute, we have a little elevator here. Which kind of reminds me of the old cardboard playset. I've put the Gonk on the elevator. So you can see he's right there, and I can pull him right on in. There we go. And when I flip this around, it's going to make noise. It automatically makes a noise when it moves. When I open up the back, you can see there's the Gonk right on in there. So there's different lights and sounds to this. Let's see the first one. Hope you can actually see them right there. That is the headlights. And it's got little headlights on the front, which is kind of cool. I didn't know that really existed, so kind of neat. We get like practically everything the Jawas say there. So let's say there's a couple more buttons here. Let's see here. So those are all the sounds that button makes. And here. Sounds like we've practically gotten every noise associated with the Sandcrawlers, whereas Droids, the sounds it makes. In here, you can see like the boiler or whatever this is right here. If we press this button, it actually lights up. When we look at it from the front here, you can see where this little hatch right here pops up, and that just goes down to the storage area below. Not quite sure what that's for. I might go back and look at the box again to remind myself. Nice little play set here. I know there's lights up here. Oh, there we go. There's lights on in here. I think lights up the windows in there, which is pretty nice. So we can get that. It's a cool effect there with that. So you can actually attach the Gonk to the crane here in the front. Has a little hole on the top of the Gonk, and there's a peg there. I'm actually tempted, because I know there's a few astromechs out there that have a hole in the top of them too, to see if maybe they would fit in that. But it's kind of nice that you could actually have the Gonk kind of hanging there. I know that's not what was hanging there in Attack of the Clones when you see that crane out there. But, it's pretty nice. Also notice the Gonk has foot pegs, which really makes me wonder how much of this is from the old Hasbro mold, if Disney was able to use that or not. Because the Jawa obviously isn't from Hasbro at all, and he has no foot pegs at all. I'm going to put him in our Jawa Sandcrawler playset. There we go. And it's pretty nice. All in all, I'd say this is actually a nice vehicle. I'm pleasantly surprised with it. The price is right, and I know it doesn't look the best on the picture that I see online. I can look at my phone right now as I'm filming this, and I say, it doesn't look all that great. And I look at it in person, it looks so much better. I can't tell you, it's some of those things that just, when you capture it in photos, the way it lights or whatever is different from the way your eye sees it. It really does look better than the pictures you see online. Overall, like I said, I'm very impressed with it. I'm glad I picked it up. My one biggest gripe would be that the treads aren't bigger. If they had been a little bit bigger, that would be even better. You could really create a nice diorama of the sail of the droids like I'm going to do with this. So that's pretty nice to see that we got this. So this will help you see about the slight difference between the Hasbro Kenner Sandcrawler and the new one. You can see I have the old Power of the Force one here right in front. You can see, I put it right in front. It's a little bit taller. I back it up. You can see just a little bit longer. It's just a little bit bigger, and it makes a big difference, which is nice. Thought it'd be kind of fun to look at a couple other things I noticed here. So, I have the Gonk hanging here. First of all, let's get him off. I was saying earlier, I thought some astromechs had a hole in their head. They do. It's the Disney Build-A-Droid ones. I think this is a Force Awakens Disney Build-A-Droid from that 4-pack. But, of course, it has the hole in the head because of all the hats. So, You can have it on your Gonk droid if you want. And you can put your Build-A-Droids hanging from the crane, which is kind of cool. Here you can see the comparison between the Disney and the Hasbro Jawa. You can see the Disney one here, and the Hasbro has a lot more detail pieces. It looks to be about the same Jawa, I would suspect, with the bandoliers and the gun and the holster and all that. So you can really see how the Hasbro one does look a lot better, but that, you know, to have another Jawa in the background. Also, as a comparison, I grabbed a Hasbro Gonk droid to compare to the Disney Build-A-Droid Gonk droid, and you can see some differences. I know there's an updated version of the Hasbro one. I can't find it right now. It's somewhere. But you can see there's a little bit more detail in the Hasbro one anyway here. I think the last Hasbro one actually had a piece that came off the top, much like that, if I remember correctly. And of course, the Hasbro one has a little walking feature I talked about earlier. But still, it's decent Gonk droid to get with this, so it looks pretty cool. So I happened to actually find the other Hasbro Gonk, which is this one right here. This came in a 3-pack, you know, those classic looking 3-packs. I think it was a Target exclusive around 2012, so yeah, around there. So basically, this new Disney Build-A-Droid is a reuse of that figure. You can see a lot of the similarities. It's probably why it has peg holes. They're in a different spot. That's interesting. But you can see the molding being very much the same all the way around. The legs are a little different. They added a little more articulation to the Disney legs, whereas these just kind of turn. They don't really move. But as you can see, you can even take off the top of the head on both, and you can see it's basically the same mold. Not quite, because the Disney one has that hole in the top, but it's pretty much the same thing. It looks to me like Disney bought the mold off of Hasbro and maybe tooled it up just a little bit different, but it's basically the same figure. So good to know. I'm glad I found that so we could take a look. Of course, then the fun part is putting together your Sale the Droids. I just kind of added all the pieces that I have here for it, so you can see all the droids lined up and the different Jawas. You can see about how they stand next to this new Sandcrawler. You can have your Lars Homestead right here with that. So in grading this, I'd say the overall value, or the sculpt here, is about a 75. I mean, it really could have been better. Those treads are just too small, and it's undersized even for the scale that we have this Sandcrawler at. But the lights and the sounds are really cool. Those are nice features. The elevator is cool. It goes up and down. You can use the electronics to do that. I kind of like that. The figures are nice, although the Jawa isn't a whole lot to go off of there. The paint apps are good in person. It's not perfect, but it looks better in person than it does in any pictures that you see online. I think you maybe should check this out in person before you decide you don't want it. I'll put it that way, because I think it's pretty cool. The value, this is very much worth what it's going for, and Hasbro would definitely charge far more for something like this. Disney is it's nice because Disney puts this out and they don't have to pay the licensing fees that Hasbro does for something like this. I recommend this, but definitely check it out if you're worried about that paint job. Go look at one in person if that's a big worry for you. So that is a look at the Disney Parks exclusive Sandcrawler. This thing's pretty awesome. I know the paint job does not look good on camera. I know when you look at it on any of the pictures online, that it just doesn't quite look right. It looks too light. The alternating colors doesn't look right, and all that. I gotta say, in person, it looks far better than the pictures. I see the difference even while I'm filming from what I look at on my camera and in person. It looks so much better. I tried to colorize it to make it look right. I just really couldn't get there. So it looks a lot better. It's got a lot of cool features. It is a fun vehicle. I think this may become my Sandcrawler for my Sale the Droids diorama as I set that up. As you can see, I tried that out a little bit. I can kind of see it going there. It's kind of neat. The thing about these Disney Park exclusives, do you think we can get more of these? What other vehicles do you think Disney could do that would go along with their Droid Factory theme, too? Because we're looking at kind of that, where they're going with it. Unless it's specifically related to maybe the new park or Star Tours itself or stuff like that. So
it'd be interesting to see what else they could come up with that would go with that. It'd be pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Hope it let you know if you want to pick up the Sandcrawler or not. And if you liked it, if you didn't like it, whatever, you can leave comments below. If you enjoyed this, you can check out my other reviews and my retrospectives and everything. It's all right here on my YouTube channel. You can go check those out. And you can subscribe so you can keep up to date on all my reviews as they come out. There's still a lot of stuff coming up that I've got on order. So getting these Disney items finally here is going to help a little bit to get a few reviews out on that. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoy your collecting.